All right, thank you, Russ. We want to take you to the economy now. Red flags on Wall Street as the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed below 12,000 yesterday for the first time since March. Stocks have now dropped for 6 consecutive weeks. That is the worst weekly streak in nearly 9 years. Michael Santoli, senior. All right, here's what we know. We know that there has been a steady stream of disappointing economic news in the past few weeks, but what we have not seen is this extended losing streak, since 2002. What's causing this?
It really is.
Pullback, or are investors really worried that this can become something permanent?
Well, at this point, I think it's a pullback.
Liquidity out there. There is also a lot of hesitancy. So what is keeping investors from investing and companies from hiring?
A few things are going.
So what's it going to take to turn this around? It's
going to take a little more pull the trigger.
Talk about signals. I want to show you a number here. The U.S. deficit is over $927 billion. Is Wall Street worried at all that Congress will not be able to reduce that number?
I think it's...
Are we going to see a 7th week of this downward news?
It's very difficult to say. I do think that 7 down weeks are very likely.
We need some positivity, no doubt. Mike, thanks so much for joining us. We do appreciate it. And this Tuesday on The Early Show, we'll have a very special town hall devoted. Now here's Russ.
Okay, but we're joined by Margaret Hoover, conservative analyst and former White House staffer under President George W. Bush. Her new book is American Individualism: How a New Generation of Conservatives Can Save the Republican Party. Also joining us is John Avlon, senior political columnist for Newsweek. He's the author of Wingnuts: How the Lunatic Fringe is Hijacking America. And for the record, they are husband and wife. Which must make Tuesday night dinner pretty exciting.
Yeah, you should see Wednesday.
I see. Thank you both for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
All these emails, seems like much ado about nothing. You agree?
You know, we actually have a joke about the Palin sneeze syndrome. If she sneezes, suddenly there's a media entourage to cover it. And yeah, I agree with you. It is sort of much ado about nothing. And, you know, she hasn't even declared for president.
Right.
Michelle Bachmann has actually done this.
Often that the word Michelle Bachmann and serious are used in the same sentence. So, I mean, look, surrounding this release of emails, and I think it looks silly.
As the world is not the world.
You know, at the moment, I'd say it's tough to tell with her because she is not somebody who is highly disciplined because she's not going to win.
Margaret, what do you think?
I have a strong sense that she's not going to run. I think it behooves her to keep this going for a long time, but honestly, you just don't see her doing the kind of serious things that she needs to do in order to be able to run. And I honestly think there are plenty of people in the Republican Party who may sit her down and just say, look, this time isn't for you.
I was going to ask you, when you look at the other candidates out there, especially like a Mitt Romney, do you think he's upset that she's getting all this attention when some of this light could go to him?
To be honest, I think with Mitt Romney...
And look, he looks good by comparison to Sarah Palin in terms of electability, certainly, and as long as the focus is also on the economy, Mitt Romney can point to his business record, and that becomes a good news cycle for him. Sidestepping the Iowa straw, he could win it, but not a bad week for Mitt Romney, all told.
You've got all these wild cards out there. Welcome back. Margaret Hoover and John Avlon have agreed to hang out with us for a little while longer. We're met on the Giuliani campaign. Different ends of the political spectrum, am I right?
Well,
pretty much on that?
He's an independent and I'm a Republican.
Okay.
So a lot of people think, they don't really sure what independent means. Does it mean he's a liberal? Does it mean he's just not Republican enough?
We know the answer now, for the record. Okay.
Did you guys get into spirited discussions when you were working together on the Giuliani campaign? You said to yourself, wow, this is cool.
We may or may not have almost broken up once over Sarah Palin.
Is that right?
How did all of that turn into love?
Oh, see, a lot of creative tension right there.
I think we liked each other from the beginning, but we did have some very serious political differences that we learned to overcome in order to decide.
And our first date was to go to Weehawken to see where Alexander Hamilton got shot. So if that's not a political nerd for you.
That didn't turn you off?
No, I mean, we were all reading the Alexander Hamilton biography at the time by Rob Chernow. So
see, keep these in a pod.
How romantic.
Really. So romantic.
It worked out. I got to go back to that. You may not broken up once over Sarah Palin. Is that the biggest issue in the House right now, Sarah Palin?
No, not anymore. But
the laundry.
We're over that.
The 2008 campaign was rocky. I'll say that.
But don't they always say in social settings never to discuss politics or religion? Do you guys discuss politics?
Oh, yeah.
At just like hanging out?
Yeah. I mean, if marriage isn't a social setting, I mean, I don't know what is. But yeah, I think what it does for us, at least, is it's taught me and showed us that even though you can disagree, you can still
disagree agreeably. And yeah, I think so many of the political debates we have in the country right now are so angry. We demonize people who disagree with us, and people parrot talking points, and it's just kind of predictable.
And they were holding hands before the sun.
They were adjusting the tie. I saw that before.
This Saturday morning, I'm Russ Mitchell.
Good morning, everybody. And good to see the clouds outside. You know why? Because it's been such a scorcher here, and much of the country for that matter.
That's right.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Betty Nguyen. Thanks for joining us. You know, computer hackers, they shut down Sony PlayStation for weeks. Well, they've also breached other well-known companies. The latest target not happen to you. And we'll tell you the first thing that you need to do if it does happen.
Also, we'll have the inspiring story of Zach Lystad. 5 years ago, and his parents' hard work changed the way sports are played in this country. But first, this half hour, that massive wildfire.
Keeping your personal information safe. Just this week, Citibank became the latest company to be hacked. About 200,000 customers in North America had their credit card numbers and other key information stolen. Citibank joins a... Here were some tips on how to make sure your account stays secure. Is personal finance expert Carmen Wong Ulrich. She is a personal finance expert and the author of The Real Cost of Living. So thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's get right to it. First and foremost, what do you do if you've been hacked?
First line of defense is always your passwords and your information on your computer. So make sure you go right to your computer, you change your login information, your password information, from everything from your credit cards.
Uses the same password on several different accounts?
You do. Please stop doing that.
I'm kind of guilty of that.
There's so many people I talk to who are really guilty of that. They're using the banking
That's a lot to remember, though. If you keep changing
this is the thing. Protect the banking part as much as you can because the hackers will come in from the company side, but if they're coming in on your side, it just makes it too easy if you use the same password for your banking and your credit card online as you do for your email and for retailers. It's too dangerous, so have a separate password for that.
We are seeing a lot of companies get hacked. The latest, Citibank, 200,000 customers have been really put at risk. What is going wrong? What is not being done?
Well, here's the thing. We can only protect ourselves on our end so much, and banks are trying to help us do that, for example, with new technology like fingerprint recognition for big expenses or big things or transactions you're going to do online. But in terms of on their end and they're getting hacked, that's not something that we can do. This is good customer service on their end. Fraud costs them millions a year, so it's in their best interest to protect us. Really, it's a lot about being ahead of the hackers and updating technology, and that's up to them, and that's what they're doing. Especially, this is the first time a bank has been hacked.
So let's get to what we can do to protect our money, because that is so very important.
Okay, number one thing, like you mentioned, those passwords. Please have a different password for your banking and your credit cards online. That's very important. Also, use one and your cash. Now, of course, there's liability with your debit card, but who wants their accounts emptied of cash? Instead, use your credit card online so at least you don't expose yourself cash-wise.
Quickly, with all these smartphones out there, should we be doing online banking with a smartphone?
Well,
is that smart?
It's very super convenient. You can even take a picture of your checks for depositing. It's so convenient, you wonder why not to do it. Here's the thing, just be very careful. A lot of phones let you choose between a Wi-Fi or your phone service to send information. You always use your phone service. Remember, if you lose your phone, to check your accounts, because that's the most dangerous thing. And also your software updates that you get from your phone provider, always put those in there. Those updates, a lot of them are security related.
Quickly, there are two apps that are really important to keep from getting hacked. Let's go through those.
Yeah, these are some fun ones. eWallet has incredible encryption technology and it costs $9.99.
Best price of all. All right, Carmen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great information. And for more ways on how to protect yourself from getting hacked, log on. Well, I hope people have special dads out there. I mean, we're getting lots of great
some nice
letters in, so please send in more.
Wait, what a great opportunity this is for whoever's going to be the winner to fly out here to New York City, to make a big event out of it. I don't know about you for Father's Day. I always have a great time. I think my wife, my son, they do great things, but it's never really an event. It's more like I get some special treatment.
Don't you guys just want to be left alone for Father's Day?
But yeah, most dads, I think the thought is, you know what? Mom wants to be taken care of and pampered. Dad wants to be left alone. But not you.
Not Lonnie,
you said not Lonnie. You want the whole deal.
I keep saying, you know, and if my wife is up watching right now, sweetheart, the spa day sounds great to me.
Well, you know, Lonnie, here's the deal. If you're a good boy, maybe we'll get a letter and you can hang with us next Saturday. How about that?
Wow. So I get to, let's see, I can do the late news on Friday night and come hang with you guys on Saturday morning.
It's a treat.
Such a deal. Such a deal. But no, we're getting some really nice letters from people telling us things that their dad has done for them over the years.
No doubt this is going to end up being a tearjerker.
Oh, yeah.
You know, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you know, look, I'm going to raise my hand right now and say dads need to be celebrated every day, but this is going to be the special day for them.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
But a spa day for you, huh?
Pedicures,
Elaine,
the whole night.
You have Sharon's number. Give her a little ringy-dingy. Tell her, hey, here's a little insight into what Lonnie was looking for.
Wow. See, I'm just the opposite. I love my family, but Father's Day, you know, hey, let me do what I got to do.
You have
and
a
stuff
man
like
cave
that. Let me do
you
that.
can retreat to?
You know, I create those kind of things, you know, as we go. But in my case, on Father's Day, I'll be working, so that'd be the man cave that I'll be in.
I see, gotcha.
But in general, yeah, I mean, love my family. They take really good care of me. But Father's Day, hey, you know,
Dads
it's my
need
day.
me time too.
There you go. There you go.
A little time alone for you. Okay.
Send your letters. You only have until midnight
Monday.
on Monday. We're
Want to
coming
hear
back.
from you. Balcony was that first kiss. Actually, they did it twice, so we got a little extra treat. But what I think is cool about the Trooping the Color is it's really celebrating Elizabeth's birthday, the Queen.
Yeah.
But her birthday was actually back in April.
Right. The weather wasn't so good.
Yeah, they were waiting on nice weather. Can we all just have that for our birthday? Mine's in September. It's a little too hot, so I'm going to wait till April when it's nice and spring-like. How about that?
Trooping the Color ceremony
for me. I appreciate that.
We're going to have more on that coming up in just a bit. Good morning, I'm Russ Mitchell.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Betty Nguyen.
Here's what's happening this half hour. Syria's brutal CBS Evening News. Right now, let's go to Elaine Quijano at the news desk with the latest on this morning's headlines. Elaine, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys, and good morning to you again.
It's all yours.
All right, thank you, Lonnie. It took almost 2 years, but U.S. Airways Flight 1549 finally made it to its intended destination. The fuselage rolled into Charlotte, North Carolina on a flatbed truck, completing a journey that started in Newark, New Jersey, where it had been kept in a hangar since it safely landed on the Hudson River. CBS News correspondent Kelly Kobiea remembers the miracle on the Hudson.
It covered.
Captain Sullenberger, let me start with you. Flight 1549 was on its way to Charlotte, North Carolina when you had to land it into the Hudson. This 2.5-year journey, what has that been like for you? And do you really think people are attracted to this story not only because it's a story of hope, but it's also a story of survivorship? We're a part of bringing that plane to the museum. Must be, I guess, a bit of a surreal experience to see the plane again, at least parts of it. Bring any kind of closure to not only see the items, Laura, but also to speak with Captain Sullenberger again as well. No doubt. And it seems like all of you have formed a bit of a family. Captain, I want to ask you, within that family...
Thank you. Good to be with you.
Now here's Russ.
Thank you.
The sexting scandal of Congressman Anthony Weiner raises an interesting moral question. If he does that, our relationship experts, Heidi Banks and Matt Titus, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
Let's get to the basics. When does a text, Matt, go from, being flirty and witty to a full-on sext?
I think that,
It really is, because is there a difference between sexting and, say, the same kind of conversation with a coworker face-to-face?
No, it's the same thing. It really is. I mean, you have to look at this as, sexting is such a cute word. It's not cute when you're in a marriage. It's not cute when you're in a committed relationship. It's stepping over the line.
So is it the same thing than when you're in person with the person?
It's very different.
You think so? You think there's a separation between a sexting and the same kind of
They fall into this kind of sexting because of the desire that they want that they want for other women.
I don't think that's at all what goes on. I mean, I hate to disagree with you, but I think when you're engaging in that activity, there's something else in your life that's not working, that you're looking for that kind of attention. For you to send a picture of yourself when you're in a committed relationship, that you're in any way naked, suggestive, whether it's a woman sending too much cleavage or a man, of course, what we saw this week with Anthony Weiner.
But Congressman Weiner said that, I've never had any contact with these women in person. It was just online. So is that really cheating?
It's one step. It's one step.
It's one step.
Beyond fantasy and a couple steps before cheating. I do not believe that it is cheating.
It's not the same. Well, sexting is not the same as cheating.
Absolutely not.
Well, let's get back to Anthony Weiner for a moment, because, well, first of all, it's just a shame he didn't have any physical contact, because if you're going to lose your career,
right?
Which,
I mean, he could have at least had sex for everything that's happened to him.
I mean, some benefit in there. Honestly, no, there is no, it's a line not drawn in the sand. It is a solid line you do not cross when you're in a committed relationship and you're in a truly intimate relationship. Now, here's what I will say. If you're with a partner who says, I need this in the marriage, I need porn, I need whatever that is, you make that agreement.
That's the structure.
There are situations where it is okay to sext when you are married?
If your partner knows, and that's the dynamic of the relationship, I firmly believe that, because let's face it, monogamy is tough. 52% of marriages don't make it, and I believe it's because you're being married.
Well, there's another poll out that says 15% of adults have admitted to sexting.
It's like the unemployment statistics. Nobody really reports them.
So more and more people are doing it these days.
I think
it's kind of becoming the norm? Well,
I think you have to do an age breakdown, because if you're looking at people under 30 and over 30 that are married, this was a poll, between 18-year-olds and 55-year-olds. If you look at the Pew Research Bureau did 2 years ago, so again, in the last 2 years, everything has shifted dramatically, and we're in a technology age where it's like this. What we have to look at is people under 30, teenagers, they are doing so much more.
But there's actually been a rise.
Thank you both. We could keep talking about. There's a lot to discuss. There's still much more still ahead on The Early Show. we want to get a check of that weather, see if Mother Nature will help them out. Here's Lonnie Quinn.
All right, we're going to get right to that.
Ah, the sweet sound. This morning on our Second Cup Cafe, singer-songwriter Alex Boyd. He has been performing since the age of 7 and has already lived the dream. He's danced with Debbie Allen, sang with Patti LaBelle, even acted alongside Bruce Willis.
And here to perform his new hit single.